Hi, welcome back to Knitmas. Today I'm talking about holiday sweaters to knit that you can wear all winter. Pretty much every year, December rolls around and I'm a little bit sad that I'm not knitting a Christmas sweater. Maybe if I started December 1st, I could knit one by Christmas if I really tried, but I also kind of don't want to knit a sweater that I can only wear for 1 month out of the year. Maybe one day I will knit a Christmas sweater that I can then rewear every year, but I have been looking at some Christmassy-ish or holiday-ish sweaters that you can definitely wear throughout the entirety of winter. And first I'm going to shout out 2 sweaters that I have knit that I consider to be a little bit festive. This first one is the one that I'm wearing. This is the Sheep Camp sweater by Jennifer Berg, and I think this is a little bit festive because the motif looks like trees, like evergreen trees. So depending on the colors you use, I think this one is fairly festive looking. The other one that I've made is the Fern and Feather by Jennifer Steingass. This is another colorwork sweater, which you'll notice as a theme because colorwork sweaters definitely tend to look more festive. This one also has a bit of a pine tree branch, maybe pine cone sort of motif in the yoke. And again, depending on what colors you knit this out of, this could be pretty festive. Okay, now I'm gonna get into the sweater patterns that I found. And I have split these out into 3 categories because when you stray from the classic Christmas motifs, but you still wanna stay wintry, there are only really a few motifs to pull from, at least the types of motifs that would make a good colorwork sweater. And the 3 motifs that I noticed a ton of are stars, snowflakes, and trees. So these are sweater patterns that I think you could start today and knit them over the next couple of months, and depending on what the weather is like where you are, you might be able to get another month of wear out of it, but then you could start wearing it the next winter or even the next fall. And I know I'm generalizing a lot here. I understand there are way more holidays in the winter than Christmas, and so maybe you can adapt different holiday colors or festive colors. I'm editing this and I forgot to mention that I have all of these patterns in a Ravelry bundle, and that'll be linked below. So I'm gonna start with the classic winter motif, the snowflake. There are a ton of snowflake sweater patterns out there. And the first is the Winter Woods sweater, which is a pretty classic snowflake motif with some other color work going on, and this one is very simple. Again, I think the color combos could do a lot here, so red and white, green and white, or blue and white. I think all of those would look quite festive. Next is the Christmas Bell, which this one has Christmas in the name, so it's definitely leaning a little bit more on the nose than some of these other ones. But I think that this still is a fairly classic and maybe a little bit more generic motif. I could see this being knit in a color changing yarn, maybe something similar to what I'm wearing right now, and that kind of toning down the holiday vibe while still being festive. This next one, the Diamond Snow sweater, is definitely more subtle. I think if you knit it in blue and white, the snowflake motif really comes across here. But this is sort of just a classic winter sweater that could also look festive, especially with the just bit of color work around the neck and then the bottom half of the sweater being a color work as well as the sleeve cuffs. I think that is just a very classic festive look. Next is the Snow Wonder, which is sort of the opposite of the last one because it is kind of in your face that it's supposed to be a snowflake, but in a good way. And I like that this is a motif, but it's not color work, just to give some more options if you're not a big color work person or you already have enough color work sweaters. I think this one's really cute. I've also seen the kids version, which I think is adorable, but I would probably make this for myself and wear it to every holiday party. But I also wouldn't look twice if I saw somebody wearing a snowflake sweater after Christmas. This is another sort of classic colorwork sweater that just has the vibe of a holiday sweater, but it doesn't have to be a Christmas sweater. I really like this one, and I've seen some very pretty project photos where people will knit the color work so that the flowers look like poinsettias. So that's another take on it. You could also knit it so that there's snowflakes. Okay, next is the tree motif, or the evergreen motif, of which there are many. And this next one sort of bridges the gap between trees and snowflakes because it has both. I really like how the snow is only beneath the trees. I think that's a fun touch. And this is another one where you could kind of dress it up a little bit if you wanted to make it a little bit more Christmassy. There is one project where somebody added sequins to the trees so that it looks like Christmas lights. There's also a lot of projects that have removed the snow, so it's just the trees. I feel like this is one that you can play around with a lot, and your colors will change the look of it quite a bit. And this next one is sort of the inverse, where the snow is falling on the trees. So depending on what you like more, I think both of these could be a really good option. This one is so cute, the snow globe sweater. There are these trees at the bottom of the sweater in seed stitch, it looks like. And then there are baubles above the trees to look like falling snow. I like, again, that this is not another colorwork sweater. I think it's just fun to have that option, and it makes it a little bit subtler because it's not like screaming out at you, but you can definitely see the pattern. So here's another tree colorwork yoke sweater that has some little diamonds in between the trees, probably to look like snow. This one is very classic. The winter night sweater is another really nice colorwork sweater, and I've seen some really Christmas looking ones depending on the colors that people have chosen. This one in particular stands out as being quite Christmassy to me, while staying away from the classic red and green colors, or at least pairing red and green together. So I really like that one. I also really like this red and white one, but the trees are in green. That is also very holiday-y to me, but it is not on the nose. I think you could wear this after Christmas and it's not gonna look like you're wearing a Christmas sweater, but the color choice there definitely does steer it a little bit more towards being a Christmas sweater. Here's another colorwork tree sweater, but the trees are at the bottom, and I just think this colorwork chart is done really well. And I like that the sleeve cuffs have smaller trees than the body. This one's really popular. I think it has the most projects out of all the patterns that I'm showing you, but it's popular for a reason. This is a great winter themed sweater that you could definitely wear to a holiday party. Next is the Misty Pines sweater, which was designed by knitwear designer and fellow YouTuber Michelle, or Mishi Fraz. I've seen her talk about designing the sweater on her YouTube channel, which you should check out if you don't already follow her. But I just really like how subtle the trees are in this color work. It's another one that doesn't like scream holiday season at you, but it is on theme and it is festive. And I like that in the color work we see like a foreground and a background with the trees. I just think the way that she used colors to display that is really cool. And there's a project, I think it was a tester, who put the color work closer to the middle of the sweater and then knit the top and the bottom of the sweater in two different colors. And I also think that's really cool. It's sort of like a tree line. Okay, last tree sweater. This is a little bit different from the other ones because this is more of a tree branch. And I think there are a lot of renditions on this motif out there, but I liked this one because I don't share that many men's patterns. I'm only sharing a couple in this video, but I just wanted to shout this one out as well. And of course, anyone can knit any of these sweaters, but this one in particular is graded for more broad shoulders. So if that's something you're looking for, there you go. And I like that this one has a little bit more going on than just the tree branches. It starts with this like chevron at the top and then is broken up by a couple of rows of stitches, and then you get into the tree branches. So I just think it's very balanced. I like it. Okay, the last category is stars, which is a little bit different from snowflakes, but kind of a similar vibe. And starting with this sweater that I would love to knit, this is gorgeous. I've had it in my favorites for years. And this one doesn't stick out as being a holiday sweater, but it definitely could be. And I also think this could look cool if you wanted to go with some more traditional colors. I think a good red and white could look really nice. If I were to knit this, I think I would choose like an icy blue for the main color and then probably just a white or a cream for the color work. This is the Winter Traveler, which has a big intarsia star, or it could be a snowflake depending on the colors you use. If you're down for intarsia, I think this is really nice. And there's another one like this that I totally forgot to put in the snowflake category, but it is more of a snowflake, and that's the Snowflake Vest. But this is another intarsia sweater where there's just a big design on the side of it. I really like this one, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I have it in me to knit it. It looks so good, but I don't know if I'm an intarsia person. Another star one is the Shooting Stars sweater. I've seen this one knit in red and white, and that to me looks very holiday. This is quite a unique color work chart, and there's only 8 projects, so I definitely think more people should knit this. I like how the stars come down the body and the sleeves, but it doesn't look like a swancho, you know what I'm saying? Where the color work yoke comes down super far and then you can't move your arms. It looks like it is designed quite well, so might have to move this one up in my queue. I wasn't sure if this one should be in the stars or the snowflakes, so I just put it in the stars. It's more of like a diamond pattern, but this one actually has Christmas in the name. It's called the 1927 sweater, and then in parentheses it has Christmas. But it's another one where it is just a fairly generic color work motif, and depending on the colors you knit it in, it can lean more festive or not. Every project is knit in red and white, so I definitely think, you know, people are knitting this to be a holiday sweater, but you could absolutely wear this at any point in the winter. And the last one is maybe the least holiday of them all, but I think this could be a really fun holiday sweater. It's just a classic 5-point star color work chart, but I think it can definitely lean festive. There's a project where somebody knit the main color in teal and the stars in lime green, and they're wearing it next to their Christmas tree, so I definitely think it can give holiday vibes, and maybe it's an option if you're looking for something less traditional and something a little bit different. All right, well, I hope that you found something interesting out of all of those options. I am still giving it some thought as for which one I want to knit, but this star one is really calling my name, and this might have to be my Christmas sweater. The off-topic Knitmas question for this video is, what is your favorite way to eat potatoes? This one was tough for me because I love potatoes and I will eat them prepared anyway, but I did narrow it down to French fries. I'll eat basically any French fry. They don't even have to be that good. I'll eat a French fry. I'll even eat my French fries plain. I mean, I like to dip them in stuff, but I don't like ketchup. So if ketchup's the only option, I'll eat my French fries plain. Okay, let me know how you like to eat your potatoes, and I'll see you again in a couple days. Bye.